Good day. How are you guys doing? I'm glad to be back here. Today I was just thinking on one of the blogs that I wrote last year, and that blog was on the story of Joseph. That when then the title of the blog was that when the journey doesn't look like the promise, right? And I just thought how many of us along the way are discouraged because we don't see the promises of God in our lives. We don't see the prophecies that we've received concerning our lives coming to pass. Like sometimes it just seems like a lot, and we get to a point of losing hope. So I thought, why not come here and encourage you all based on what Joseph encountered, right? Most of us maybe know the story that he was a dreamer. All his life was shown to him to say, this is where you're going. And what he saw in the dreams was not the process, but the actual results of his life, like the end point of his life. And he didn't know that he had to go through all that. And probably in his mind, he was like, God is a liar. Why can't he promise me this? And the opposite is what seems to be happening in my life. I mean, when his brothers were trying to kill him, he probably thought, but I had a dream where these people were bowing to me, right? So because the process is not explained, sometimes it seems difficult, and most of us, if not all of us, find ourselves in that process, find ourselves in those not so nice circumstances, and we begin to question God. We begin to wonder about God. You said 1 2 3, why are you a liar? Why am I facing what I'm facing? So I just want us to quickly look at the end of Joseph's life to see at the end he was there. His brothers were indeed bowing to him, and when they thought that he was gonna kill them, he says to them that um, God meant it all for the good. Basically, God knew why I had to go through all of this, and He worked out everything uh, in the way He worked it out, right? So that reminded me of one scripture we love that says that God works out everything together for the good of those who love Him and are conformed. Okay, it says God works out everything together for the good of those who love Him and are called according to His purpose, right? So, like sometimes what we don't see is the hand of God at work in our lives. And most times what we see is the end process, or rather the process. But when God is busy, we don't see, and we only see when it's done, that it's His grace that carried us through, that it's His grace that has been with us through and through. So we need to trust God and His word and His promises in our lives. The Bible says that endurance births in us maturity, right? So sometimes one thing required between us and our destiny is endurance, because it's in that moment where character is built. It's in that moment where God prunes us. It's in that moment where He works within us for His glory. He takes His time cutting off the branches in us that do not bear fruit, or fruit that will not glorify Him. So yes, we need to get to that point of just trusting God, that as long as we remain in His will, He works out everything together for the good. At some point, Jesus maybe thought, God, why are you forsaking me? God, why is this so hard? But He endured it, and at the end of the day, he emerged victorious. So even as we're going to emerge victorious, we need to trust God in all that He does in us and through us, for us and for everybody else that He has called us for. That we may not give up, we may not leave as though we don't know there's a God in heaven who answers prayer. There's a God in heaven who knows each and every breath that we take, who knows the number of our hairs. So we need to rely on him even in the process. We need to rely on him even through the 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 thorns that we encounter along the journey. We need to rely on him to say that God, who knows, who gives the lilies whatever they need for them to flourish, is the same God that will carry us through until his work is completed in our lives, until his work is finished in our lives. So we need to hold on and trust that he who promised us is faithful. Life is hard, but let's be kind on ourselves. Life is hard. Let us know that the more it gets harder, the more we need to rely on Jesus, because at the end of the day, it is not by our strength that we conquer. And the Bible tells us that in our weaknesses his strength is revealed. So unless we are weak, we will never get to know his strength, because we will always think that it is our strength or wisdom that carries us through everything that we go through. So child of God, just want to encourage you today that hold on to his promises. Do not give up. Do not lose the faith. Keep on running this race with endurance, and the Lord is faithful to carry you through. The Lord is faithful to finish the work he intends to with you and within you. Bye.